Assalamu alaikum. Inshallah, the live stream is going to start in the next 6 minutes, inshallah.
You're still muted, okay.
Mustafa, I'm ready. Yes, Mustafa, I will be introducing. Hello?
Have you got your camera on? And are you on mute?
Mustafa, I'm ready.
You're not on video.
Okay.
No, you're not.
I just started.
Oh, yeah. You're on mute.
No,
No,
okay.
no.
Yes, Mustafa, I will be introducing.
It's delayed.
Hello?
And are you on mute?
Mustafa, I'm ready.
You're not on mute.
I just started.
You're on mute.
Okay. Yes, Mustafa, I will be introducing.
That just keep delayed.
Hello? Mustafa, I'm ready.
Iqbal bhai, start
Yeah.
the introductions.
Okay.
The introductions.
Okay. Okay. Yes, Mustafa, I will be introducing. Hello? Okay. Okay? Okay. Yeah. Salamun alaikum, everyone. Salamun alaikum, everyone. Ahsanallahu lakumul azza. Okay? Yeah. Family. Salamun alaikum, everyone. We are gathered under the circumstances of this COVID-19 pandemic. Usually we would have had majalis for everyone in our centers, but we are making the best means of remembering our beloved one. And we have gathered today to remember the daddy of Chagpar family. I often wondered why he was called daddy by everyone. And I was told that it was a close-knit family which lived together in Mombasa, and to everyone, daddy was known as daddy. He is no longer with us, but he's left a legacy for us. Thus, we, his children, are remembering him today in the best way we can. I will do a little briefing about the Marhum later on. However, I remember a beautiful saying of our Mawla Ali alayhi salam, and I will say it first of all in Urdu. It says, "Logo ke saath is tarha rahe, लोगों के साथ इस तरह रहें कि जब जिंदा रहो तो वो तुम्हारे साथ रहें, वो तुम्हारे साथ रहने की तमन्ना रखें, और मर जाओ तो तुम पर आंसू बहाएं." Live amongst the people that when you're not there in front of them, they crave your company. When you go away from this world, they cry for you, for your absence. And clearly, that is the case within our family, that we have clearly lost an elder of our community. It is an end of an era that our beloved daddy is no longer with us. But I'm sure his ruh is with us. Inshallah, today we will have a short program in his memory to remember him. And to start off with, I would like to introduce Akil Huda and request him kindly to recite Surah Yasin. Please welcome him with the Nare Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون وسواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين واضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاءها المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب أليم قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين اتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون أأتخذ من دونه آلهة إن يردني الرحمن بضر لا تغني عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون إني إذا لفي ضلال مبين إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون قيل ادخل الجنة قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين وما أنزلنا على قومه من بعده من جند من السماء وما كنا منزلين إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم خامدون يا حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون ألم يروا كم أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون وإن كل لما جميع لدينا محضرون وآية لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها حبا فمنه يأكلون وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وأعناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملته أيديهم أفلا يشكرون سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون وآية لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالأرجون الكريم لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون وآية لهم أنا حملنا ذريتهم في الفلك المشحون وخلقنا لهم من مثله ما يركبون وإن نشأ نغرقهم فلا صريخ لهم ولا هم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين وإذا قيل لهم اتقوا ما بين أيديكم وما خلفكم لعلكم ترحمون وما تأتيهم من آية من آيات ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا أنطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينصلون قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون سلام قولا من رب رحيم وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم أن لا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم ولقد أذل منكم جبلا كثيرا أفلم تكونوا تعقلون هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون ولو نشاء لطمسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكانتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون ومن نؤمره ننكسه في الخلق أفلا يعقلون وما علمناه الشعر وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين لينذر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين أولم يروا أنا خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون وذللناها لهم فمنها ركوبهم ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب أفلا يشكرون واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينصرون لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند مهضرون فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون أولم ير الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون صدق الله العلي العظيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سورة مباركة الفاتحة.
Ahsantum Akil for that clear and concise recitation of Surah Yasin. Inshallah, the sawab of it will go to the Marhum. It is clearly said that, for a person, it is Baqiyatu Salihat, which assists him in his hereafter. And clearly, the Marhum, Dedi, was blessed with children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. These are the great-grandchildren that clearly are showing the Baqiyatu Salihat of the Marhum, inshallah. Next on the item is Surah Mulk, which will be recited by Muntazir Ramji. So I would kindly request Muntazir Ramji to come on and grace us with reciting Surah Mulk. Please welcome him with Nare Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور الذي خلق 7 سماوات طباقا ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت فارجع البصر هل ترى من فطور ثم ارجع البصر كرتين ينقلب إليك البصر خاسئا وهو حسير ولقد زينا السماء الدنيا بمصابيح وجعلناها رجوما للشياطين وأعتدنا لهم عذاب السعير وللذين كفروا بربهم عذاب جهنم وبئس المصير إذا ألقوا فيها سمعوا لها شهيقا وهي تفور تكاد تميز من الغيظ كلما ألقي فيها فوج سألهم خزنتها ألم يأتكم نذير قالوا بلى قد جاءنا نذير فكذبنا وقلنا ما نزل الله من شيء إن أنتم إلا في ضلال كبير وقالوا لو كنا نسمع أو نعقل ما كنا في أصحاب السعير فاعترفوا بذنبهم فسحقا لأصحاب السعير إن الذين يخشون ربهم بالغيب لهم مغفرة وأجر كبير وأسروا قولكم أو اجهروا به إنه عليم بذات الصدور ألا يعلم من خلق وهو اللطيف الخبير هو الذي جعل لكم الأرض ذلولا فامشوا في مناكبها وكلوا من رزقه وإليه النشور أأمنتم من في السماء أن يخسف بكم الأرض فإذا هي تمور أم أمنتم من في السماء أن يرسل عليكم حاصبا فستعلمون كيف نذير ولقد كذب الذين من قبلهم فكيف كان نكير أولم يروا إلى الطير فوقهم صافات ويقبضن ما يمسكهن إلا الرحمن إنه بكل شيء بصير أمن هذا الذي هو جند لكم ينصركم من دون الرحمن إن الكافرون إلا في غرور أمن هذا الذي يرزقكم إن أمسك رزقه بل لجوا في عتو ونفور أفمن يمشي مكبا على وجهه أهدى أمن يمشي سويا أمن يمشي سويا على صراط مستقيم قل هو الذي أنشأكم وجعل لكم السمع والأبصار والأفئدة قليلا ما تشكرون قل هو الذي ذرأكم في الأرض وإليه تحشرون ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين قل إنما العلم عند الله وإنما أنا نذير مبين فلما رأوه زلفة سيئت وجوه الذين كفروا وقيل هذا الذي كنتم به تدعون قل أرأيتم إن أهلكني الله ومن معي أو رحمنا فمن يجير الكافرين من عذاب أليم قل هو الرحمن آمنا به وعليه توكلنا فستعلمون من هو في ضلال مبين قل أرأيتم إن أصبح ماؤكم غورا فمن يأتيكم بماء معين صدق الله العلي العظيم الفاتحة
أحسنتم جدا منتظر for an excellent recitation of Surah Mulk. Inshallah, the sawab of it will go to our Marhum deity. Inshallah. Next on the agenda, the itinerary is a Marsiya. But before I say recite this Marsiya, because I've been requested to recite a Marsiya, I remember a saying of Mir Anis in Urdu. I will recite if you don't mind. Mir Anis says, आगोश लहद में जब के सोना होगा, आगोश लहद में जब के सोना होगा, बजूज खाक न तकिया न बिछोना होगा, बजूज खाक न तकिया न बिछोना होगा, तन्हाई में कौन होगा अनीस, तन्हाई में कौन होगा अनीस, हम होंगे और कब्र का कोना होगा. लेकिन I am sure Muhibbe Ahle Bayt are always welcomed by the Ahlul Bayt in the Qabr, and they are always there with them to assist them in their new dunya of Barzakh. Inshallah, we pray the same for our Marhum deity. Baral Nabi, Awladi Ali, Bawaze Buland Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. کس طرح اپنی تباہی کی خبر لے جائے، کس طرح اپنی تباہی کی خبر لے جائے، پاس زینب کے بچا کیا ہے جو گھر لے جائے، کس طرح اپنی تباہی کی خبر لے جائے، لے گئی باپ کا سایہ تو سروں سے ان کے، لے گئی باپ کا سایہ تو سروں سے ان کے، اب یتیموں کو ہوا چاہے جدھر لے جائے، پاس زینب کے بچا کیا ہے جو گھر لے جائے، کس طرح اپنی تباہی کی خبر لے جائے، ایک دو گھر کے چراغوں کو بجھا دے لیکن ایک دو گھر کے چراغوں کو بجھا دے لیکن چھین کر کو اینا امید سحر لے جائے، پاس زینب کے بچا کیا ہے جو گھر لے جائے، کس طرح اپنی تباہی کی خبر لے جائے، پاؤں زخمی ہے تو راہوں میں ہے پتھر کانٹے، پاؤں زخمی ہے تو راہوں میں ہے پتھر کانٹے، جان عابد کو کہاں تک یہ سفر لے جائے، پاس زینب کے بچا کیا ہے جو گھر لے جائے، کس طرح اپنی تباہی کی خبر لے جائے، بولی ہوگی علی اکبر کو سجا کر زینب، بولی ہوگی علی اکبر کو سجا کر زینب، چاند کو میرے کسی کی نہ نظر لے جائے، سوچتی ہوگی یہ بانو میرا بچ جا اے سہاگ، سوچتی ہوگی یہ بانو میرا بچ جا اے سہاگ، اور مولا مجھ سے میرا لختے جگر لے جائے، پاس زینب کے بچا کیا ہے جو گھر لے جائے، کس طرح اپنی تباہی کی خبر لے جائے، شاعری کی میری معراج یہی ہوگی نظیر، شاعری کی میری معراج یہی ہوگی نظیر، ذکر سرور میں مجھے موت اگر لے جائے، پاس زینب کے بچا کیا ہے جو گھر لے جائے، کس طرح اپنی تباہی کی خبر لے جائے۔ الا لعنۃ اللہ علی القوم الظالمین وسیعلم الذین ظلموا ای منقلب ینقلبون، انا للہ وانا الیہ راجعون۔ رحم اللہ من قرأ سورۃ الفاتحہ۔ اللہم صلی علی محمد وعلی محمد وعجل فرجہم۔ چلتے رہیں گے قافلے میرے بعد بھی یہاں، چلتے رہیں گے قافلے میرے بعد بھی یہاں، ایک ستارہ ٹوٹ جانے سے فلک تنہا نہیں ہوتا۔ مومنین، next on the item is a Majlis by our Sheikh Mehdi Abdullah. So I will kindly welcome him with the Nari Salwat. Salwat bar Muhammad. Allah salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Tafazzul ya Sheikh.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين المصطفى محمد، ثم الصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين۔ أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، يا أيها الذين آمنوا استجيبوا لله وللرسول إذا دعاكم لما يحييكم۔ O you who believe, answer Allah and the Prophet when they call you to that which will give you life. This is an interesting verse that we have in Surah Anfal, and it's verse number 24. And there's a few things that when we reflect on this verse, we notice that they might seem a bit strange or stand out to us. First of all, this verse is addressing the mu'mineen. It's saying, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu, O you who believe. The next thing is that it's saying, answer the call, istajibu lillahi wa lirrasuli idha da'akum. So answer the call of the Prophet, of Allah and the Prophet. لِمَا يُحْيِيكُمْ, to that which will give you life. So number one, a few questions that arise for me over here are, why is it addressing the believers and at the same time telling the believers to answer the call of Allah and the Prophet? Normally we would associate the call of Allah or that which Allah and the Prophet are inviting us to or encouraging us towards to be either Islam or to believe in Allah, to believe in the Quran, to believe in the Prophet. But in this case, in the verse, it's beginning with Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. It's beginning with addressing the people who believe. So if you already believe, then why is it that Allah would be asking, or Allah and the Prophet would be asking you to answer their call? And the other question that comes to mind is, what's being referred to over here when it says that which will give you life? So specifically life over here. To answer these two questions, we can obviously we for the first question we've said that talking about or referring to the believers and asking them to believe in Allah and the Prophet doesn't make sense. Okay, so there must be something else that this verse is referring to that we have to answer the call to, and we find a hadith from the Prophet which says, "Innama bu'ithtu li'utammima makarimul akhlaq," that surely I was sent to perfect your moral character. Now over here we have an interesting grammatical point where right at the beginning of this hadith it says innama, and innama usually in terms of grammar it's used for exclusivity. So it's telling you that the sole purpose or one of the main purposes of the Prophet is to help us perfect our moral character. Now when we put this in the context of that which the Prophet would be inviting us to, and by extension what Allah will be inviting us to, is to actually develop and perfect our character and our akhlaq. So that's the answer to the first part, that it's not that Allah and the Prophet are asking or inviting us or asking us to respond to this call of Islam or the Quran, but it's actually to respond to the fact that we have to develop our moral character. Now the second part of this hay or this life that's referred to in this verse, Allama Tabatabai in Al-Mizan, he mentions that usually when you speak about life, there's two instances or there's two things that can be intended or meant. The first thing is our normal life in this dunya, in this world, and the other thing is in the hereafter, or it's referring to the afterlife. Now in this verse specifically, Allama Tabatabai mentions that what is being intended is the hereafter, it's that life in the afterlife. So when we put these two concepts together, that Allah and the Prophet are inviting us to develop our moral character, and the fact that this by developing this moral character, what we will be given is a life in the hereafter. And what we mean by life in the hereafter is that we won't go to hell. It will be something that it's a life worth living. It's a life that's near Allah. Because through the process of refining our character and our akhlaq, it qualifies us to be near Allah. It qualifies us to receive the blessings and the bounties of Allah in the hereafter, and that is what is being intended in this verse. Now, I want to move to another verse over here, where in Surah Nahl, that Allah is telling us, once you're on this path already, or once you're already on this journey of developing your moral character, you're kind of purifying yourself, then Allah is saying, Ud'u ila sabili rabbik. So call others to the path of Allah. In other words, call others to this path of developing your moral character and developing yourself. And according to this verse, as it carries on, it says, there's three main ways or three guidelines that I am giving you that you should use when you're calling other people to this path. So the first thing is bil hikmah. The second thing, wal maw'idat al hasana. And the third thing, wajadilhum billati hiya ahsan. So the first thing, wisdom. The second thing, maw'idat al hasana, being giving advice or the best advice. And jadilhum billati hiya ahsan, the third thing. having a discussion with the person in the best possible way. Now, there's lots of discussion that we can have over here, but I'd like to start with wisdom, because this wisdom maybe needs a bit more explanation, or we can pull out some other verses from Quran that can help us to understand what is intended by wisdom over here. So the verse that I've chosen, or to highlight one of the aspects of wisdom, is from Surah An-Nisa, and it says, وَعِذْهُمْ وَقُلْ لَهُمْ فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ قَوْلًا بَلِيغًا, and advise them and speak to them with speech that penetrates. And over here, the key thing over here is قَوْلًا بَلِيغًا. This is a concept that the Quran is alluding to, and it's an aspect of wisdom. And when we explore this a little bit further, we understand that قَوْلًا بَلِيغًا is the speech that, or speaking in a way that penetrates, it sinks into someone's heart, or someone resonates with what you're saying. And the reason why the Quran is highlighting this for us, one of the reasons why the Quran is highlighting this for us, is to demonstrate the importance of giving advice to people in a way that it resonates with them. It makes them ponder, it makes them stop and think about what they're doing, makes them reflect. Because if it doesn't have this advice that you give them, if it doesn't have that effect, then this advice is almost useless. It's as if you've not said it at all. So it's important that we understand how we can get this speech to penetrate into the person's heart and make them resonate with it. There's different methods that we can use for this speech to then penetrate, and we have to understand. It also requires us to understand the person in front of us. So they say in Farsi, they say mukhatab shanasi, and I guess in Urdu as well it would be the same, that understanding the person that you're speaking to, understanding what they will resonate with, what they will respond to, what kind of words you should use, what kind of tone of voice you should use, what kind of message you should deliver, the way you should deliver the message. All of these things count a lot in the message that we're trying to deliver, or the advice that we're trying to give to someone. In the Quran, we have 3 ways that are mentioned based on different instances or incidents that give us an indication of how a message can be delivered. The first one is in Surah Baqarah, verse 260. وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ رَبِّي أَرِنِي كَيْفَ تُحْيِي الْمَوْتَى قَالَ أَوَلَمْ تُؤْمِنْ قَالَ بَلَى وَلَكِنْ لِيَطْمَئِنَّ قَلْبِي. When Ibrahim said, when Ibrahim said, "My Lord, show me how you revive the dead," he said, "Do you not believe?" Ibrahim said, "Yes, indeed, but in order that my heart be at rest." So this verse is showing us that, or at least it's telling us that there's the message that Allah is trying to send to Ibrahim is that I have the power to revive the dead. Okay, and over here Ibrahim is then turning around and saying, I want to see how you do this. Rabbi arini kayfa tuhya al-mawta. My Lord, show me how you revive the dead. Okay, so Ibrahim wants to be shown this. And then Allah, he says, okay, the verse continues, that take 4 birds, cut them into pieces, and then put them on separate parts of the mountain. Sorry, put them on 4 different mountains, and then call them, and you'll see them coming to you. So this is the first method of being shown how something happens, and that gives you some sort of certainty, and that message then penetrates into the person's heart. The second method of delivering a message is found in verse 30 of Surah Qasas. فَلَمَّا أَتَاهَا نُودِيَ مِنْ شَاطِئِ الْوَادِ الْأَيْمَنِ في البقعة المباركة من الشجرة أي يا موسى إني أنا الله رب العالمين. So over here, Prophet Musa is with his family and he's walking through the desert and he sees something. And he says to his family, you guys wait here and I'm going to go and check that thing out. And it's a burning bush, or a burning tree, sorry. And then from that tree, Prophet Musa hears Allah saying, Inni ana Allahu Rabbul Alameen, that indeed I am Allah, the Lord of the worlds. So over here, this is one technique that Allah is using. He's telling someone that I am the Lord of the message that he's giving is I am the Lord of the worlds, and he's saying it to Musa. And for that instance, that was the most appropriate way to deliver that message, and for that message to reach Musa. It's not to say that this is the most appropriate for Musa, but perhaps for this message that Allah wanted to deliver, it was the right method and the right type of manifestation. The third method of delivering a message is found in Surah A'raf, verse 157. الذين يتبعون الرسول النبي الأمي الذي يجدونه مكتوبا عندهم في التوراة والإنجيل. So those who follow the Prophet whose mention they find written with them in the Torah and the Injil. So this is for those Jews and the Christians who were in some sort of doubt with regards to the Prophet, and they were basically told that if they looked in the Torah and the Injil, in their own books, then they would find the name of the Prophet Muhammad in there. Okay, so they'd have to read that, go back to those scriptures, read them. And this is the third method of delivering a message in the Quran, that someone reads it somewhere. Now, at this point, this is where the aspect of wisdom comes in, and specifically the aspect of practical wisdom, where we have to understand what's the right tool, what's appropriate, how will this message get delivered, and it's very based on context and situation. And we have to then kind of use our wisdom and our own intelligence to determine how I'm going to deliver this message to the person in front of me. For example, if you have a child in front of you and you want to teach them that this kind of oven has a fire and the fire is hot and you'll get burnt. So you have different methods that you can use to teach them. One is you show them a picture of an oven, you show them fire, and you show them, for example, someone getting burnt. This message, it might get across, it might not get across. In my experience, it's not likely that it will get across. The child is still going to want to touch that fire. So then another method that you can use is you can actually show them and kind of tell them and show them at the same time that if I go near this fire, I'm going to feel heat, it's going to burn my skin. Maybe put some paper on top of that fire and the paper will burn, and the child will start to understand a bit more that this fire that's in front of me is dangerous. Similarly, when it comes to this aspect of calling people to the path of Allah and specifically calling them to this development of their moral character and refining themselves, we have different techniques that we can use. So one of the techniques that, let's say, for example, we want to encourage someone to pray. For an adult, we'll use one technique. For a child, we'll use another technique. Sometimes the adult needs to read a book on Salah, read the different hadith. Sometimes they need to discuss it with someone. Sometimes they need to be told that this is the importance of Salah, this is the philosophy of Salah, and they'll respond in that way. And they'll start to pray on time, for example. Whereas with a child, it's a lot more difficult. You have to keep reminding them. You have to give them some sort of incentive. You have to, it's not likely that, for example, they'll read it somewhere and then feel like, I feel motivated to go and pray on time. It's not likely. So then you might want to encourage them by showing them that, look, Baba or Mummy is going to recite Salah on time, and it's going to be a habit. And because of this praying on time, it's giving them these certain benefits in terms of being at rest in terms of in their own heart. For example, that's mentioned in Surah Ra'd, أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبُ, that with the remembrance of Allah, the hearts are at rest. And if the child sees this, then they might be motivated to then start praying on time. So this is my kind of general message, that we have this path that we want to invite others to, this path towards Allah, of refining moral character, developing virtuous character, that then allows us to develop a life in the hereafter and give us a life that's near Allah in the hereafter. And we have different methods and techniques that we can use, but we have to use our wisdom in order to do that. And that wisdom is going to be very much dependent on the situation that we're in, the type of person that we're talking to. Are they educated? Are they religious? Are they an adult or a child? And lots of other factors. So inshallah, with that, I will end over here and make the dua that we pray that Marhum is in the hereafter and has that life that we talked about. And it's a life that is near Allah and the Ahlul Bayt. And all of his shortcomings and any sins are all forgiven. And we pray for the success of his progeny going forward. With that, please recite a loud salawat and a surah al-Mubarakatul Fatiha. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
طيب الله أنفاسكم يا شيخ أحسنتم جزاكم الله خيرا for those words of wisdom. أحسنتم. Mu'mineen, we have reached a stage where obviously we need to know a little bit about the person that we are remembering today, Marhum Dedi, Al-Hajj, Roshanali, Hassanali Chagpar. I have been given the task to say a few words about the Marhum. I feel that I would not be able to do full justice to this. However, one of the things that I needed to sort of say and clearly say is that my experiences with the Marhum are from the time that I got married to Gulzar in 1983. And my first trip to Karachi was that I went and met him, and I had time with him for nearly 4-5 weeks. Clearly, when you are with somebody, you come to know them well, you come to know what they are like, etc. The first thing that comes to mind is his piety. He was a very pious person. He was a family person. He was a husband, a good husband, a father, a grandfather, a brother, a brother to his sisters, a brother, an elder brother to his brothers, and to his family, like we were just now said, that he to everybody was a daddy. Everybody looked upon him as the head of the family. My interactions with him clearly said to me something about him. He was somebody where prayers were concerned, where namaz were concerned. Daddy would be ready 10-15 minutes before the namaz time. He would be on the musalla. I have been told that in Karachi, he used to sort of go out in the what you call Agassi or the gallery, and he would be looking at the sky, and from looking at the sky, he would say, now it is Maghrib time or now it is Zohar time. So it gives you a flair as to what the Marhum Dedi was like. His interactions with people, what can I say? I have actually witnessed his interactions with the people. Whoever he was with, they loved his company. They enjoyed his company. And they interacted with him so well. It was unbelievable. I believe when I was in Karachi, obviously, this was my first trip to Karachi. And I was told by Haidar Masa that would you like a driver or a car on its own? And I said, no, thank you very much. I have seen what the roads are like, and there is a camel, there is a donkey cart, and whatever, and the cars are going left and right, and center. I don't think I want to. Anyway, a few days later, Daddy comes in the afternoon at lunchtime, and he says, Iku, come down. So I went down. There is a car and there is a driver, and he says, right, I've got this car, we need to drop the driver, and we come back. And I looked at him gone out, and I said, Daddy, but I don't drive here. He said, Gadi chalauta to avde chhe ne. Okay, ha cha, to pachi tawakkal Allah upar kar, hal. He was so confident, and his convincing ways were such. I did not have a choice. At the end of the day, he was Daddy. I sat and I drove. The next day, what I found out was that he brought the car that he wanted me to drive to the airport because Shabir Bha was coming from America and to pick him up. So we went. I remember Shabir Bha's reaction that he came and he looked at me, and when I was about to start the car, and he said to Daddy, he said, Tame Iqbal gadi chalavine le ava che? To ke ha. To ke chalaiva? To ke ha. To ke kevidna? To ke mene gidu. So, these are the sort of things that he had a convincing personality, where people would be talking, and if by mistake somebody had said something, he would clearly stop there and say, Apre su. Muki diyo, Allah ne badu khabar che. Apre bolwani jarur nathi. This was his character. I don't know what word to say about him. There's so much to say about him. He had a friend circle. Even in Peterborough, every time I'm there, people are asking about him or were asking about him. Kem che Roshan bhai, amara dost thata, ame sathe bhanta tha, ame sathe hata, Mombasa ma ame sathe hata. One of them, clearly, I had a phone call, and believe you me, I've had so many phone calls, I've had so many messages of condolences about Daddy, and clearly because of Daddy for who he was, not because of me, forget me, but because of Daddy, who he was. And it was Pyarali Kasmale, PK uncle. And he said to me that I'm very, very sorry, Munjo dos halivyo, muke bahut afsos hai, munji umar jawa. I went to Chicago, went around their house, and I had a meal with him 2-3 times. I can't believe that he is gone. And I had to give him condolence as his friend, and I had to clearly calm him down and said, Uncle, mare ke vin enjoy, hakro di to vin enjoy. Jab ke Ahmad Mursal na rahe, to baki kon rahega. And that way I consoled him. On Thursday, there was a funeral in Peterborough, and I was with Mullah Muhammad Qasim Ali. Now, Mullah Muhammad Qasim Ali is also from Mombasa, so obviously Mombasa people know each other very, very well. He said to me, Iqbal, my brother in Birmingham has sent me a message. I will share it with you. I said, okay, Mullah Sahib. So he read out this to me, and I will read it to you also, you know. Salams, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Roshan Bhai Chagpar has just passed away in Chicago. He was father-in-law of Iqbal Manji of Peterborough. Marhum was very close to our Dadima. He and his brothers were regular visitors to our house to see Dadima. Our Dadima and Kulsum Masi, Chagpar, that is our Dadima, Roshan Bhai's mother, were first cousins. Al-Fatiha. So it gives you a flair as to how people remember Daddy, in which way, other way, and believe you me, it is Neki that is coming forward, clearly coming forward from all corners of life, all corners of the world, saying that who he was, whatever he was, he had a great role within the community. He served the Mombasa community and Africa Federation. He has participated in Africa Federation's meetings, etc. And, a photo was circulated in the group, which I think all of you would have looked at. But to me, he was not my father-in-law. he was my father. And I will say this, and please excuse me if I get emotional. He always treated me like his son. I was no indifferent to his sons or his daughters. And that is why I never called him uncle or anything else but daddy. He loved his grandchildren so much. I don't know the words where to begin. The three children, Hassan Hussein and Riaz Hussein, were the apple of his eyes. He would forever be talking. If he was on the phone, he will say, where is number one? Where is number two? Where is number three? Now Hussein, one of the twins, went to Mombasa. And the day he went, the same day, it was a Thursday, so with his friend Jamil, they went to Kabristan. When he went to Kabristan, he said to Jamil, oh, that is my Nana Bapa reciting. So Jamil, out of surprise, says, hang on, Hussein. How do you know that is your Nana Bapa? Your Nana Bapa is in America. He said, no, Jamil, I am sure it is him. So when the program finished, he went up to the person who was reciting with Jamil, and there it was Nana Bapa. So he went up to Nana Bapa and he said, Assalamu alaikum, Nana Bapa. So Nana Bapa looks at him and says, Tu koncho? To Nana Bapa tame orakta na tu koncho? So I've long time, he said, Beta, have bud pan thyu to yadi pan etli nati, but tu mane ke koncho? Ke tu number one cho, number two cho, ke number three cho? So Hussein said, Nana Bapa number three cho. Hussein, even to this day, remembers, he hugged him and he cried. These were the love that he had for people. These are the love that he had for his family and his children. He was forever talking about his sons, forever talking about his daughters, and how grateful he was to Allah for granting him the family that he had. I don't want to say very, very much. There is a lot I could go on about, but time is running out. But all I can say is we all together pray for the maghfirah of Marhum Dedi, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raises his status with the Masumin alayhimus salam, that his barzakh manzil is made of ease, his soul is happy with us, that whatever he's left behind, which are us, that we always will remember him in our prayers, especially on a Thursday, on a Friday, we always remember him with du'as, with whatever we can, with Surah Fatiha, you name it, we should do it. To him, his family was everything. For us, he was everything to us. May Allah forgive his sins and raise him with the Masumin alayhimus salam. I would request all of you to please recite a Surah Fatiha with 3 times Kul Huwallahu Ahad, and remember Marhum Dedi, plus all the Marhumin of our families, the Chagpar family, and all other Marhumins that are from our family. Al-Fatiha. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad wa ajjal farajahum. In the end, I would kindly request Yasir Merali to grace us and to recite Ziyarat. So Tawajjuh Ziyarat, he will recite Ziyarat, Dua Faraj, and Ayah Shafa. Salawat bar Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا رسول الله. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدتي نساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا خديجة الكبرى أم المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله الحسين وعلى 9 المعصومين من ذرية الحسين، علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والحجة بن الحسن، عجل الله تعالى فرجه وسهر الله مخرجه وظهور الأمر ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة بن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا وذليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. 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 صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.
Jazakumullahu khaira, Yasir. I thank one and all for today, for arranging this majalis for the Salih Sawab of Marhum Dedi. Jazakumullahu khair, one and all. Ahsantu.